Hello! In this video, I'm going to show you how I'm using Google Classroom for distance learning. I will show you three things. 1. How to create a class and upload everything your student will need in Google Classroom. 2. What this looks like from the student's perspective. And 3. How to grade their work. Step 1. Let's create a class. In the top right corner, click the addition sign and select Create a Class. Then, fill in the requirements. I only fill in the top two sections because I like the way this looks, but feel free to play around and figure out what you like best. Click Create when you're finished. Now that you have a class, we need to add content. Just a heads up, I found that if you want your units to be in the order that you see here, then you need to set them up backwards. If you don't have a bit of OCD like me, then you don't have to worry about this. I'll show you what I mean. Starting with your stream, this is a great place to make class announcements. I've found that this is useful for SGI classes, but it doesn't exactly fit my needs for IS, as I don't post many announcements very often. I may post one announcement after creating my units, which will contain information on how to navigate that specific class, and it'll basically be a video walkthrough for students so they know what to do and how to be successful, but that's about it when it comes to announcements for me. A majority of what I do when setting up will be found under classwork. Classwork is where we'll set up the units and everything that goes with it. First, click Create Assignment. Give your unit a title and any instructions that go along with it. Next, add everything your students will need. For US History A, I need to add the Google Docs unit that Rebecca created, the textbook, and the lab, which is all within my Google Drive. If you open these files beforehand, they'll pop up here under Recent. Otherwise, you can search here for them within your drive. Make sure you select the correct setting for each of these uploads. For example, students only need to be able to view the textbook and the lab, so I'll be leaving the default setting as is. But I want my students to be able to type directly into the unit, which means that I'll need to change the setting to make a copy for each student. I love this feature, by the way, because it saves me from doing extra work. I'll show you what I mean later on in this video. For independent study, I leave everything on the right-hand side as is, but for an SGI class, you may want to fiddle with these. Once everything is done, click Assign. Do the same thing for the rest of your units. Awesome! Now that that's done, let's add some people to our class. Under People, you can add students, invite their parents or guardians, and even add in co-teachers by adding in their emails to the appropriate sections. Just a heads up, you can't invite a parent or guardian until your student has joined your class. Then you'll see the option to invite. It'll show up here in pink text. You can't miss it. Last thing to do is edit the settings. Click on this symbol here, and I personally restrict commenting or posting for teachers only. And I choose this one because I like how my units show up in the stream with this option. And that about wraps up everything for creating a class in Google Classroom. Step 2, let's see what all of this looks like from a student's perspective, so we can walk them through it when they ask for help. Once you've invited your student, this is what they'll see. All they need to do is click Join. Then they can see the units we just created. Now what you want your students to do is to click on the individual unit here so they can access their unit, which has been automatically copied for them, thanks to that awesome feature I mentioned before. Over here, they can find all the material that we posted for them. And on this side, they can type their answers directly into the unit as seen here. Once they've completed the unit, all they have to do is click Turn In, which can be found here within the document, or here. Now all your student has to do is text you that they're finished with the unit. You can check your Google Classroom and it'll look like this. And now you're good to give them the test code and test essay. To upload this work to your work product folder, all you have to do is download the file before uploading it to the appropriate folder. You can even type and highlight your comments for your pare down, which is a great transition into the final step, step 3, where I'll show you how to grade. I want to note that I recommend grading before you download the unit and upload it to your work product folder. That way your comments are included for the pair down. All right, here we go. When it comes to grading, you have a lot of options, but here's what I do. I type out my grade and the corresponding comment before changing the text to red, so that it stands out for both the student, but also for my pair down. You can also leave private comments on the side here, which students will see if you return their unit ungraded because you want them to make improvements. But you can also use this feature up here to leave comments as well as make suggestions. Students will receive an email informing them of these comments, and then they can make the necessary changes before turning it back into you again. Now, it's good to note that you will not receive an email when they turn a unit into you for the first time. You just have to check Google Classroom. But if they are resubmitting a unit, then you will receive an email saying just that. Oh yeah, make sure you submit their grade here and then return it to them. I've explained to my students that if they receive an email and it shows no score, that means they need to review my comments and make changes before returning it back to me. Otherwise, they'll see a score like this. From there, I update my tracker and student track, and that wraps up how to grade also. I think I've covered everything, but if you have any questions or suggestions on how to do something more efficiently, please let me know. Thanks for watching.